Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central Time, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television, that's syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com and all the social media sites. I'm all over the place there, too, so you can always find us whenever you'd like to. Continue sending emails, by the way. I cherish every one. Donna at donnasedge.com. That's Donna at donnasedge.com. Got AP Steadham, who is everyone's favorite sports talk show host. And he's a pretty amazing guy. And been anxious to talk with you. And we've received, most of the emails we've received for you is about, wow, Alabama's doing pretty good, aren't they? Auburn's doing pretty good. And this is in the final basketball. So let's talk about that. I know that you've been out on location.
Right, yeah, Donna, we're going to be at San Antonio for the Final Four, for the men's Final Four. So the two representatives from the Southeastern Conference are the Auburn Tigers and the Florida Gators. And Donna, they will face each other in the semifinals. So that guarantees an SEC team in the championship game. So the semifinals will be Saturday, late in the afternoon, early in the evening. And then the finals will be played on Monday night. But anyway, Auburn and Alabama had great seasons. Alabama was defeated in the Regional 8 final by Duke. The Duke Blue Devils were the number one seed in that region. Alabama was number 2 at the 20-point loss. Alabama, I think it was only the second time this year they scored under 70 points. They had 65. They lost by 20 points to Duke. And they just were not prepared for that onslaught that Duke. And Don, we always preface our remarks, basketball, ball in the basket. And those teams who put the ball in the basket, down, they have the best chance. And Alabama, the prior game, had set a record 25 three-pointers, 25 three-pointers. Phenomenal against BYU in the Sweet 16 that was held in the East region, North New Jersey. But they couldn't manage to come up with a good shooting game in that Regional 8 final against Duke. And then Auburn, they beat 2 Michigan teams now. They beat Michigan, and that was the region in the South in Atlanta. So Auburn had quite a few fans there. And Michigan, University of Michigan, they beat them in the Sweet 16, and then they had to face Michigan State, a tough Michigan State team, in the finals of the Regional 8. They won that ball game, so they're on to San Antonio for the second time. And Auburn's history, the first time was 2019. That was played up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This time at San Antonio, Texas. And then we had Tennessee, who they shot poorly, only scored 15 points in the first half, and they lost to Houston. That was in the Midwest, Indianapolis. And we had some of the other teams. Arkansas lost to Texas Tech in one of the regions, and Ole Miss lost in their region in a tight ball game. Had a chance to win. But the SEC did great with having all those teams in the Sweet 16. They have they had several in the Regional 8 final, and they have 2 in the Final Four. So the SEC basketball overall, Don, this is the best year they've ever had, because there were 14 teams that entered the tournament. 14 out of 16. Only 2 teams, Don, in the entire league did not make the NCAA tournament. So the SEC, a banner year on the men's side.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely fantastic. So many great things. A lot of emails that we get are responding to. People are watching basketball now more than they used to. And a lot of women are responding to that as well.
Yes, and of course the women had one of the regionals. There's only 2 regionals on the women's side and 4 with the men, but 2 regionals. One was Birmingham, Alabama. So for the SEC, South Carolina and Texas both made the Final Four. That's to be played in Tampa. And they had quite a few teams, I think with actually 6 who made the NCAA tournament. So the SEC women, they've always done very well in earning berths to the NCAA tournament. But there's 2 teams that made it to the Final Four, Texas and South Carolina. So kudos to them. And those were the 2 teams, Don, by the way, who played for the league championship in the tournament for the SEC. So Texas and South Carolina, both coaches have been to a Final Four. Vic Schaefer had been to a Final Four. He won it as an assistant, I believe, with Texas A&M, if I recall. And then, of course, Dawn Staley, she's won multiple championships at South Carolina. So 2 good teams out of the SEC on the women's side will be playing.
Sometimes people say the team spirit is gone, but it's not in the areas that I'm in. I was in Alabama on Monday, and people just all over the place talking about the basketball and how good that the SEC is doing. And then right here in the Carolinas, where I'm at, I'm going to tell you what, that's a proud bunch of people too.
South Carolina, you had Dawn Staley, championship coach, multiple championships. So, yeah, the Gamecock fans, they're really excited. I'm sure they'll be in full force in Tampa, Florida. And South Carolina, their roster is loaded with, I've heard as many as maybe 10 All-Americans, but they've got to get together and perform very well, because one of the worst losses they had was when UConn came down to Columbia and beat them by about 20 points or so. It was more than 20, actually. But South Carolina is a team to be reckoned with in this tournament. And Dawn Staley, she knows how to win championships.
Is there anybody with any of the networks, anyone that you looked at as being maybe the Cinderella team that came out?
Yeah, this year, Donna, for the first time, I think since it's over, I think, 10 years. In the men's side, there was 4 number ones that made the final. Auburn was number 1 in their region. Duke was number 1 in their region. Houston was number 1 in their region, and Florida was number 1 in their region. So it's what's the term they use is chalk. Mm-hmm. So it was chalk on the men's side. Women's side, Carolina, I think, was number 1. Texas was number 1, I think, and had UConn might have been a 2, and the other team UCLA. I think UCLA was the number 1 in their region as well. So it was pretty much Cinderella was sleeping on both sides of this tournament, pretty much, Donna. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about San Antonio, because everybody's talking about that. So what are your predictions, and what does each team need to do to vie to be the winner?
Yeah, the Auburn-Florida game, Auburn suffered one of their home losses against Florida. Florida beat Alabama and Auburn at Auburn and at Tuscaloosa. So Florida's an excellent team, very versatile. Mm-hmm. Auburn, I think, Donna, when I discuss all these games, you have to shoot fairly well. I mean, try to hit your average, let's say, and to give yourself a chance. Play good defense, rebound. You're trying to hold the top scorers down on the other side, whether it's 1 player or 2 players, 3 players, trying to hold the top scorer below their average down. It's important. Free throws down, we can't emphasize that enough, to have especially down the stretch, the last 2-3 minutes. You have to make those free throws. Mm-hmm. And then when you get near the end of the game, 2 or 3 minutes, and it's a tight ball game, what coach is going to maybe call the right play, design the right play, scheme the right play? And then will your players be able to execute? But it's all, and I think it's critical, Donna, to start the game, you want to either be even or get ahead. Because I've seen teams fall way behind at the beginning and they never can recover. So you don't want to get in a situation where you're in the panic mode. You're in the mode of, gee, we're way behind, and we start doing things out of the ordinary to try to recover and catch up. So you want to start the game even or slightly ahead if you can. I mean, that's the goal of every team. You want to start out fast, jump on the other team, play good defense, get them in a panic situation. But you want to shoot the ball well, run some. I say try to get to the basket, challenge the other team to get to the basket, see if they can guard you, get some fouls, get on the free throw line. I would say so. So Auburn and Florida, they played each other. Florida came out victorious at Auburn, so you know that Auburn has the attention of Florida and vice versa, because they play against each other in the league. The best league this year in the country. So that should be a competitive game. I'm hoping we do not see any team dominate. You want to see a competitive ball game. So one SEC team will be in the championship. Then you have on the other side, you have Houston, who's known for their defense, but they do have 3 good shooters this year from the 3-point line. I think they're shooting over 40%. And then Duke, they've got the best player in the country, compared to Janae Broome from Auburn. Those are the player of the year's flag of Duke. He's a very good ball player, freshman from Maine, about 6'10", can shoot, can score, can pass, can defend. So, and Duke is playing very well down there. They have people who can put the ball in the basket. Duke, they're beating people down. I think they had something like 20 games where they beat people by double digits, big scores. So if Duke gets on top of you, watch out. And Houston has to try to come out fast and score because they're known for their defense. So but this is a game of ball in the basket, okay? Especially against a team like Duke, they're prolific scorers.
Absolutely. Terrence made a remark. I thought that was pretty good. He said, and you made me think of Terrence's remark when you said, you can't start from behind and get back in again like Muhammad Ali. And that's what Terrence's remark was. He said, I think Muhammad Ali only works in boxing. You can't use that strategy in basketball.
No, basketball. Yeah, Don, what happens is, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you start rushing. You have a tendency maybe to make some mistakes. Yeah. And that's turnovers more in favor of the other team. They get additional opportunities to score. So start the game. Hopefully you can start the game. You're just going back and forth. You're finding out about each other. But, of course, Florida and Auburn know about each other. They played during the regular season. But I wouldn't be worried. If I'm the other coach, if we're within a couple of points, we're a couple of points ahead, I'm feeling good at that moment. It's when you get behind by double digits and it starts playing on the minds of the players, the coaches, your fans. So it's important to have a good start.
If you were a coach and had the comeback kid, the one that always wanted to, let's wait until the last minute, I'm going to be the comeback kid, what would you do to that player?
Yeah, Donnie.
It's a good strategy either. That's just like,
Yeah, you instill confidence in your whole team, especially that player. You said, Johnny, we're going to run this play for you. Let it fly. Just you always encouraging and showing a positive attitude that we believe in you. You practiced and you've been a good player all season for us. And we're willing to put all the marbles in the middle of the game and put faith in you.
Well, I had a boss one time, has nothing to, this was a corporate job I had. And he said, you just like being the comeback kid, don't you? He said, you like waiting. He said, you're giving me a heart attack because there are times I think you're not going to get this task completed. And he said, you like to slide into home base at the last minute and it just gives me a heart attack. But what I was doing, it wasn't even a strategy. I was just taking care of customers and then doing the sales at the last week. Right. And he said, I would think you're not going to do it. And then I wind up outdoing everybody else. But again, that happens in some things, but not in basketball or football.
Yeah, right. And Donna, there's some teams, they have a tendency, they play tight ball games. They just can't seem to take a lead, but they win. But they win in the end. But Duke is not one of those teams. I would not like to get behind the Duke. As I said, there's 20 ball games or so where they won by double digits, big numbers. So if I'm playing Duke and that's Houston and Duke are matched up, I wouldn't get behind Duke. But Auburn and Florida is going to be a great ball game, I hope, competitive. Two teams out of the SEC representing the conference. And either team can win because, you have Janai Broome of Auburn, their big post player, power forward center. And he's very versatile, can score, rebound. He's a good leader, clutch player. And Walter Clayton Jr. is the guard for Florida, probably the best guard in the tournament. He's been so clutch the entire tournament for the Gators. Mm-hmm. So they both are big winners. And here's an interesting thing, Donna. Todd Golden was a protege of Bruce Pearl. He hired him at Auburn, so he coached with him some at Auburn. But now he's the pupil facing the teacher.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's go into a commercial break. We're going to talk a little bit about AP as we see it and what's going on with that show when we come back. So everybody hang in there, okay? We'll be right back. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas, or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Good afternoon. We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. With AP Steadham, he's one of our favorite guests, and been on the show for a number of years. And also, he hosts another show, and let's talk about that a little bit. AP As We See It. Now, you're syndicated all over the place, too.
Right, Donna. Yeah, we're on about, 20 to 25 stations, and we're heard Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee, and then we're on Spotify. You can listen to us there. And then Donna, we've started since August. We're on the YouTube channel, AP As We See It, so they can watch the broadcast. So we try to have some interesting guests, and we'll be discussing the Final Four, I'm sure, on this week's show. Last week we had a great show about the basketball. You can't help but talk about SEC basketball, Donnie. We talk about the football. We always talk about the football as well. We'll mention something about college football and the SEC, but right now we're trying to emphasize this college basketball because the nature of the SEC performing so well on the men's side. We know that the women's side for years and years they've been excellent. But we're going to be in San Antonio, so we'll be taping from there and look forward to being on the Riverwalk and seeing people from all across the country that we don't get a chance to visit with during this season, but everybody congregates to all the basketball world. Donna, one of the interesting things they will do there is announce the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame class and have some of the inductees there. And so we're looking forward to those interviews. I think that's sometime on Saturday before the semifinals, two semifinal games. But Donna, it's so much fun to see all the four sets of fans. we'll see from Auburn and Florida and Houston and Duke. So, and Saturday, Don, is one of the best days in sports. It's actually better than the championship on Monday evening because you have 4 teams. Everybody's really excited and enthusiastic, and their fans come from everywhere, Don, just to be there to see their team. And it's going to be in San Antonio. I've never been, so I'm pretty pumped up to be there. I've heard so much about that city.
Well, it takes every personality for a coach. Now, the 4 remaining coaches, how would you define their personalities and how it pertains to the team?
Right. Yeah. Bruce Pearl, enthusiastic. Teams always play very hard, rebound and defend. I mean, you need those things to win, Don. Like I said, ball in the basket, that's certainly important, but you have to do those other things as well to complement your offense. And then you have somebody like Kelvin Sampson. His teams always play great defense. They're hard. They rebound. Don, they practice by missing shots. They'll have their managers throw the ball up to a rim that's covered, so the shot is missed. So they'll practice rebounding all the time. So you know that Kelvin Sampson of Houston, University of Houston Cougars, his teams play with a great deal of energy, especially trying to get those offensive and defensive rebounds. And you have Todd Golden. He likes to play fast, but his teams can play versatile because he's a Bruce Pearl protege. So his teams have the versatility to play fast, to play slow, to shoot from the outside, to go inside as well. And then you have the new coach from Duke. He's he took over for Coach K. So John Shire, he played at Duke, but his team's very good on the offensive side, solid defense as well. And Don, we just want to mention about our show, AP As We See It. You can check us out on the YouTube channel, the Spotify. Check all our social media this week, Don. We'll have all the interviews of the teams, and the players will be on our Facebook links, our Instagram links, X account. So check all that out. It's on my personal one as well, at AP Steadham.
Yeah, and I'll be checking that out too. I'll try to get a couple of links on next week's show. Now, of the remaining teams, as far as AP's opinion, who's going to come? Who's going to be the last man standing?
Yeah, the last team standing, right, Donna? That's a good question. I thought beginning of the tournament, I thought Florida was the best overall. I guess I should stay with that, but it would not surprise me with these teams if any of the 4 can win. Any of the 4 teams can win because they're so strong. It's not like they're all number 1 seeds, Donna. Mm-hmm. All number 1 seeds in their region. So they're strong. It's not Cinderella was not invited to the party this year. Mm-hmm. So it's all the number. So that's why I think it's so difficult for people to pick the winner, because it's just 2 games. As I said, if you shoot poorly, you're probably not going to be able to recover. So you have to have a game where you maybe reach your average, slightly below your average, above your average to win these games, because the other teams are outstanding, well coached, have good players. There's All-Americans on each team, Donna. All-Americans on each team. So they're stars that can score points. So it's going to be hard to pick. But Florida is the team overall. The number, the number 1 seeds are everywhere in this tournament. Okay, Florida, Auburn, Houston, Duke. On the women's side, that's pretty tough. South Carolina, Texas, Connecticut, UCLA, all top teams as well. So I guess I should say the team that shoots very well is probably going to win these tournaments. I don't think they're going to shoot below their averages, I don't think, and win.
If I were a betting person, I would not bet because I think it's all up in the air. I think it could be any one of them.
I think so. Yeah. You're
Now,
right.
of the coaches, which coach remaining do you think outcoached everybody else?
They're all very good coaches. They don't make too many mistakes, Don, and that's why their teams are here and rated very high. Bruce Pearl, he's been to a Final Four. The Duke coach is young. This is, first Final Four. Todd Golden, first Final Four, the head coach. Kelvin Sampson, first Final Four. So the Bruce Pearl is the only one, I guess, had been to the Final Four, the head coach. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the only one that I could think of. And on the women's side, of course, Connecticut's coach been to many Final Fours, won it, I think 11 times. Dawn Staley's run multiple times. UCLA, I think this is the first time the Final Four on the women's side. And we have Texas Vic Schaefer. He's been the Final Fours as a head coach with Mississippi State. Now he's with Texas. So there's a lot of experience on the women's side being a head coach in the Final Four. Bruce Pearl, the only one on the men's side. But these coaches, Donna, they've been involved in pressure games to reach this point. So I don't think that comes into play when you reach the Final Four.
I wanted to mention to you as well of the emails that we received. A lot of women responded this time, and a lot of women said that they appreciate your coverage for the women's teams.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, we enjoy women's basketball.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. About 3 minutes remaining in this. Let's talk football just for a few minutes. So predicting, well, let's get back to basketball just for a second.
Okay.
So Bruce wanted to know if you thought, because of Vanderbilt and the way they've just come out with football and basketball, and I'm kind of paraphrasing because it's a really long email. And so he wanted to know your opinion. Do you think Vandy could possibly be in the top 4 next year?
Oh, for football. Oh, I think that's a stretch right now, Donna. I would say that if I'm Vanderbilt, you want to continue your winning ways, reaching the bowl, upsetting some teams along the way. And if they can have a top 25 season, that's another huge ascent for the Vanderbilt football team and Clark Lee, the head coach. And you have the returning quarterback, Diego Pavia. Yeah, so that they should have a chance to win a lot of ball games. Donna, Go ahead, Donna.
Oh, momentum going their way big time.
Yes, absolutely. Vanderbilt's in a good spot right now. There's a lot of excitement coming out of Nashville with all their teams.
Yeah, and I enjoy seeing that. Okay, now a little bit less than 2 minutes left in this segment. Football. Do you see anything on the horizon right now we're going to be talking about in the future?
Yeah, football, Donna. They're going to all the commissioners of the leagues are going to be meeting. They're trying to figure out the playoffs moving forward into not this coming season, but the following season. They want to try to reseed the teams 1 through 12 instead of giving the top 4 teams the bye. So they have to come to that agreement. They're going to meet in Dallas. I think it's next week, I think it is. So they're trying to negotiate those things moving forward for this coming playoff season. And then beyond, they're trying to come up with a system as well. So that'll be important. We'll have some news on that once that happens. So the college football, really right now, they're looking at the playoffs and they're trying to negotiate all these leagues to come to an agreement.
That's still going to be a little bit of a process before we can really talk about it.
Yes, it will be. So looking forward to that outcome.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead and call it a day. It's been great, really great talking to you today, AP. And also you guys out there, thank you so much for watching. Continue sending the emails, okay? AP and I get a kick out of it, so please continue sending emails. And that's at Donna@DonnasEdge.com, Donna@DonnasEdge.com. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is #1 as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.